Hi there, it's August the 3rd, and we are continuing our journey through the second book of Chronicles, and we're in chapter 34 today. Chapter 34 deals with the reign of the young king Yoshiyahu in Hebrew, or Josiah, we call him in English. And Yoshiyahu means the Lord has founded, the Lord has established. And we read of Josiah that he comes to the throne when he's 8 years old, and does everything that is right in the eyes of the Lord. When he's 16 years old, he starts to seek after for himself the ways of the Lord, the ways of his forefather David. And then it says when he's 20, having searched out the Lord, having searched the Lord with his heart, he starts to pull down all of the Baalim and the idols. He breaks down the high places, and he cleanses Judah, not just Judah, but actually a lot of Israel as well, the Israeli territory. He goes through and he breaks down the idol temples and the idol shrines that are there. And then he, like the kings before him who have wanted to restore the worship of the Lord, he gives money, or he has money collected to restore the house of the Lord. And as they are restoring the house of the Lord, a book is found. And this book happens to be the Torah, happens to be the account of God's dealings with his people from the beginning of time through to the entry into the threshold of the entry into the promised land, all of the feasts, all of the stories, all of the laws of God contained there. And they bring this book to King Yoshiyahu, to the Josiah, and it's read before the king. And as the king hears it, his heart being very tender towards the Lord, he's absolutely appalled that this has not been kept to, that they've not followed the ways of the Lord. And so he tears his garments, it says, which is the sign of mourning and the sign of grieving. And he is so concerned that they have not followed the ways of the Lord. And so he actually sends to inquire of the Lord, and they find a prophetess of the Lord named Huldah, who resides in Jerusalem in a place called the college. The word is actually the Mishneh in Hebrew, which means the place where things are repeated, and it's the teaching house, the teaching school, and she lives there. And she actually tells them that the Lord's intention is to bring judgment on the people of Israel, and on the house of Israel and the kings of Israel, because the people of Israel have not walked according to the covenant which is given in this book. However, she says the Lord will not bring this about in the days of Yoshiyahu. He won't bring this about in the days of Josiah, and he will actually continue to prosper. It will be after his reign that this terrible thing happens. And so Josiah has the people make a covenant with God. He makes a covenant with the Lord, and the people make a covenant with the Lord to follow the Lord and to go after him. There's an interesting factor here in this chapter, that the written record is there. Even in the time of Yoshiyahu, in the time of Josiah, there is a written record of the dealings of God with his people, and God has witnessed already in a book his covenant with people, and it can be accessed and can be read. We who are privileged today to have the Bible in its full form, in all of its revelation, we are handling things that are so important to us, and we can read, we can witness what God is calling us to. And that's why we also need to be immersed in the pages of Scriptures, so that we can know clearly the heart and the covenant of God. Have a very good August the 3rd.